Hello, and be welcome to the world of darkness. Long ago was it that the sin of Cain spawned the cursed horror that stalks the street at night in search of living blood. The kindred have long been a secret influence through all ages of human history, plotting against one another in a never-ending jihad. Their immortal progeny are among us to this day, hidden from the eyes of humanity by an elaborate masquerade.
Alden, describe your general appearance this evening as well as the thoughts mulling through your mind as you depart from your haven in search of Alfred Davy.
Alden would be thinking, almost wondering about what may happen tonight, thinking about the people that he wants to talk to, the secret he wants to uncover, and hopefully being able to find one of the victims, speak to one of the remaining. Otherwise, he's thinking about the meeting with the group, what they might learn, and what they might see. He's wearing the usual, his large black trench coat, with the collar popped as always. He's wearing some plain black trousers with a white shirt and button collar. He's wearing his usual top hat, made of felted fur, and his black boots. Other than that, he's not really wearing anything other than a ring on his finger that might grab someone's attention.
And you are obfuscated, yes, as you wander the streets of London.
Yep.
Where is it in Whitechapel that Alfred tends to linger? Does he stay near the pubs on Whitechapel Street, or does he stay a bit off to the sides in one of the lesser used streets and alleys?
Yeah, and the more lesser streets and alleys.
As you move through the London streets of Whitechapel, the black brick fading one into the other until they appear an almost monotonous stream of the same, with very few in this part of Whitechapel storefronts to break up the consistency of these buildings. It isn't a comforting ambience. Much of the area looks the same, illuminated very faintly with the most productive light of all, shining from the sky above, the moon. Fortunately, the skies are much clearer today. The yellowish-white fog which had pervaded the night before have dissipated for a more clear, not exactly clear, but better than what you've had. On these more isolated streets, very few working gals feel quite comfortable in walking around. You do see a cluster of them here and there. 3 stood on the sidewalk on the left side of the street. Small cluster of 4 at the base of a stairwell, not far away from a pub. Most of the gentlemen who walk the streets are dressed as you might imagine. They're laborers. They're the lower class. These aren't people who go to the city of London for a night out at the Theatre Royale. Their entertainment is found in the nearest pub, the nearest inn, or the nearest work. And the urchins of the street are plentiful as always. Just as you walk unseen through a small group of men, 4 in number, skirting around them, the pungent odor of their sweat and cold, some of which clings to their features as they walk home, a bottle slushing in the hand of one. You can see in the right-hand alleyway a cluster of urchins, homeless street children that are more gang-like than some of the adult gangs. About a dozen of them walk through the alleys, each holding a makeshift cane, a small knife, and one of the little rugrats even has a small revolver tucked behind his back as they walk. It's at that pub that I mentioned, where the cluster of girls are outside, that you see Alfred. He's just stepped outside with a cigarette in hand. Seems to be clearing his throat as he hacks and spits on the floor. He wipes his mouth at the back of his hand and walks up the street a little bit. Above him and you now, especially as the street narrows, line upon line of hanging laundry rests.
As Alfred walks further away, Alden would slowly start to walk alongside him and trying to ensure that he will not, when he talks, he would almost turn his shoulder that's facing him slightly away to cover his face. Then he would start. Been a long time, Alfie.
As you speak, the words shattering the veil of obfuscation, Alfie jolts upright, staggering to the right as his hand moves inside of his coat. Once he sees the general shape of you, the gaslight behind you kind of casting your shadow over you, making you this black, amorphous blob that no real features can be easily distinguished. Alfred puts a hand over his heart, looking at the ground where his cigarette fell when he jumped. You're trying to give me a fucking heart attack?
Yeah.
Out of character comments for intermission, please.
Alden would chuckle a little, saying, "What, are you not pleased to see me?"
Pleased to see you. Hey, I might have just pissed myself the way you're creeping up on me. To emphasize, he touches his crotch a couple of times before waggling a hand in front of you. Bleeding hell do you want me creeping up on me in these nights? Don't you know there's a maniac running about?
At that, he would slightly straighten up his posture and say, "Exactly. That's why I've come to talk to you."
Give me a Dex and stealth or performance, difficulty varies, to kind of continue to conceal your monstrous features as you speak to him.
Oh, by the way, that's Dex stealth.
Mm-hmm. With the light at your back and your hat tipped, your collar up, you manage to cast much of your features into shadow. The only thing he can very vaguely see is some of your chin and neck where it's exposed, as well as your wrists peeking out from under. He waves a hand in front of his face. Bleeding hell, when was the last time you took a bath? Filthy bastard.
He would laugh again, saying, and also while doing so, slightly trying to move his head a little, cover his wrist. Say, you know how things are around Whitechapel. That's where we all met, and you remember?
I remember. Still no bleeding reason to be going and taking a bath in the Thames.
But that's besides the point. I was wondering what you'd know about the current situation with the Ripper murder.
A Ripper? Ain't got no ties to that. Me and the boys have been keeping our heads down. 10-pence gang have been straggling the girls along. Extortion. £1 a piece to keep them safe from the Ripper.
Have anyone in groups been coming to you?
What's that?
Have anyone in groups been coming to you?
Groups? Gotta have to be more specific there. If you're talking about the bobbies, I stay clear of them.
Out of character, who are the bobbies?
The police.
Oh. No, I mean, anyone that was related to the victims. Maybe not by blood, but by connections.
Nah, not for one. The pub there is where I do my business out of now. He pulls another cigarette out from under his pocket and holds it up. Cigarettes. Me and a couple boys steal them off of some of the ships coming to dock. Sell them for a good price at the pub.
Well, these nights, have you seen anything somewhat out of the ordinary?
He puts the cigarette in the corner of his mouth, his head tilted up so that the right eye angles up towards the sky as he thinks. Pulling the matchbox out, he strikes a match. You naturally recoil from it. The beast inside of you snarling at its presence. He even looks at you funny, holding the match halfway up to his lips. Calm down, mate. If you want a cigarette, just ask. No need to be growling at me like a dog. He puts the match to the cigarette, lighting it, for waving and tossing it aside, offering you the cigarette now.
He would humbly refuse the thing. I'm not into that kind of stuff.
Suit yourself. Yeah. Weirdest thing I've had to hear about is some story. A doctor going round to the Ripper murders. Last I heard, he was at the George Art buildings a couple of nights ago.
You've got a name?
Hell, mate, I wish I did. Well, I ain't got that much to say. If you need me to do something for you, by all means. For old time's sake, if nothing else. You've always been good to me. But information isn't my game. Why, he a problem to you? You want me to rough him up a bit?
This whole situation has not been having good effects on my business.
I can imagine not.
If you could, at any time, go to the 10 Bells and see what you can find out, please do let me know.
10 bells? Mate. Yeah, I can head down to the 10 bells, take a look around. You looking for anything in particular, or?
As like with old times, anything that doesn't seem like it belongs. Something unusual.
Alright, I'll head down to the 10 bells. After I take a piss. Head over there, ask around for you, see if anyone's seen anything. All I can say to you is if you really want to know, ask those straight Arabs. They're the ones in the business of information.
And where can I find them?
In the alleys, in the dark corners of every street. Little runts. Never have I seen swindlers like you've seen these children. The upper classes call them urchins, they call them. Urchins. Straight Arabs. No other word for them. Not long ago, I saw one of the little tykes wearing a top hat and carrying a pistol. Bad father and that.
Well, I'll find you later tonight. Does that work?
Yeah. The 10 bells, or do you want to meet elsewhere, somewhere a little less flashy?
Yes, somewhere a bit less slashy.
Well, that rules out Miller's Court. How about we meet at Dutfield's Yard, huh? A couple of the boys be around there, I'm sure.
Alden would give a slight nod of it appearing that, well, it being kind of hard to see considering his back is facing him, but being enough so that he can at least see the slight movement of his head.
By the way, the least you could do is look me in the eye. I know you've gone on to bigger and better things, but you haven't exactly forgotten about it. Yeah, he pats you on the shoulder uninvitedly. Hey! And for God's sakes, man, stop stealing clothes off the pissing dead. Better places to get some cloth. He walks off, heading down the street now towards the 10 bells.
Could I go in the direction of those kids I saw earlier?
Wandering into the alleyways behind the rows of apartment buildings and workhouses, the trash littering in a dip in the center of the alley where the cobbles almost move into a U shape, a stream of brown, brackish water sliding down the way. You can spot 3 of the kids just a ways up, one sitting on a crate while the other 2 splash small broken stones into the water, seeing who can make the bigger. Clearly they're not bothered by the smell of it.
And these are clear urchins, yeah?
Oh, very well.
May I try to change my appearance?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll and spend that blood.
I'm going to use a willpower point. Okay. I also have 0 in performance, to let you know. Cool.
As you will the power of your blood to don the mask of 1,000 faces, a sudden flash of bright light coming from the street as one of the gas lights flares momentarily, the glass fogging up immediately before it seems to readjust, startles you. And rather than invoking the mask of 1,000 faces, you maintain your hideous, monstrous visage. In fact, you hear one of the kids shout, "Bloody hell, did you see that? I didn't know all rats were around here." The kid sat on the box, jumps off, and immediately starts running towards you. But once he notices you at a better glance, he stops and holds up his hands, and waves the others back. He seems somewhat offended by you, despite having seen your appearance.
Wait, so he saw how he looked?
Oh, he saw.
Okay.
He jabs a small accusing finger at you. "Hey, what you doing around here? You ain't Prince Fangan."
He would... Wait. Out of character. They're a human gang, right?
They're all children, but as far as you know.
Do they look like not kindred or not ghouls?
Perception awareness.
Okay. I have a 0 in awareness.
On a cursory glance, I mean, they stink, but they're kids. And they're in Whitechapel, and homeless. Their clothes are nicer than some kids you've seen, but dirty and patches on them. Even the kid's top hat has a big plaid patch right on the center off to the right. And as far as the just general appearance of them, frankly, you've seen worse. It's impossible to tell. Well, they don't have the appearance of a vampire, at least. I mean, one's smoking a cigarette, which, what can you say? He's just a really mature 7.
He would respond saying, "Who's Prince Fangin to you?"
He's the boss around these parts. And if you don't know who he is, you need to be singing yourself out, he points to the road.
Oh no, I'm quite aware of him. See, I wanted to ask you something. What would you know about the current Ripper cases?
The Ripper? Havisham don't like no Ripper.
Pardon?
Havisham, Prince Fangin, you're not very bright, not know that. Clearly you were lying when you said you knew him. I think they're going to just answer you because you're some big scary vampire. You got something else coming. We're protected by Havisham, we are. Hair on our head, and you're going to see the end of it.
Do I look like I'd really do something to you?
My, what big teeth you have. How about this? As a gift to Prince Fangin, and for our services, for 2 shillings apiece, for me and my mates here, we'll tell you what you know.
I'm gonna need a second to think.
Out of character. Don't worry, Thomas. You're not the only one getting torn up by these kids. They're all a bunch of
out of character. Rude.
I'm just saying, they're all a bunch of fucking swindlers. At this point, they'll offer a shoe shine for £1.
He would say, almost like a question, but still with a sense of not authority, but authority. 2 shillings or a sweet each.
What's that?
2 shillings or a sweet each.
Manipulation. Leadership. You're imposing that firm, authoritative, yet lackadaisical voice that you are more accustomed to in your breathing days. That seems to catch the kid's eye. He's now looking at you a little more appreciatively. 1 each, you said. You have them on you?
Not on me, but if you let me know each of your favorites, I can get them for you.
What a toss. You get the sweets, then we can talk, huh? Have a mind to ask you for a shilling on top of it.
Well, before you get ahead of yourself, tell me what type of sweet.
Now they seem to look between each other conspiratorially, hustling together, speaking in a soft but loud whisper. Some chocolate. I want one of them sweet ones. We get some chocolate. We get bread from the baker. Then we put the chocolate in it, huh? We melt it a bit, warm fires. But I like my sweet bread without talk me. That's because you're weird. Come on, Willie. God damn it. Fine. I talk to him. The kid turns around you, shifting his top hat back centrally on his head. 2 chocolates and a sweetbread.
Can I read them?
Perception and empathy. They're excited. They really want them sweets. Granted, there's a mischievous tone to their voice and glint to their eyes, suggesting you might be overpaying. They look like the bird that the cat that ate the canary, as though they're getting away with something almost. Whether that's going behind Haversham's back, or it's just the fact they're getting sweets, or maybe they're planning to screw you with how much information they have. You're inclined towards the latter.
Wait, so does it seem like, the 2 bread and a chocolate each, or for all of them?
Nope. 2 chocolates
and
a sweetbread.
For all of them?
No. 1 chocolate for one chocolate for another, and a sweetbread for the last.
Okay.